mm, mm, mm. How to meditate physically. First of all, you can meditate in a chair. You don't have to sit in these postures. And like I said in the last video, meditation is really a state of mind, but these postures, or at least sitting upright in a chair even, is going to help with the balance, the middle way of not being too tight and not being too loose. Like you can lay down and meditate, but you'll probably get dull and you'll probably fall asleep. As an example of why we do sit up. It also does other things. The chi is flowing, and the chi actually is a huge part of meditating well. I noticed that when your chi relaxes, your mind relaxes. All right, so you could sit in a chair, but if you want to do sitting meditation, then you're going to need some sort of pillow or here, let's show you how big it is. This one's actually pretty thin, or not that tall, I should say. And that's good. It makes it easier. The bigger they are, it's gonna put might put tension on your legs. I want to add that if you don't have a pillow that's made for meditation, you can just fold towels, maybe like that, or a blanket that's firm. Fold it up, get creative, and then you could put a pillow on top, any normal pillow. You can also have some sort of blanket that you fold so that you can have an area that's maybe a couple feet by a couple feet or a few feet by a few feet, especially if you're meditating on, say, tile or something hard. So you could do both of those. Basically, you're making up the two pillows by having like an area that's even just like a thick carpet or something even would help. A piece of carpet, and then you fold the blankets or whatever you do, and with a pillow on top. Sit in the middle, but sometimes I like to sit a little on the edge, and it kind of tilts you. You want your legs lower than your hips. And it kind of tilts you a bit so that your back is straight. I'll get into the details. Okay, so first of all, your legs, what do? Now, you can sit in Indian style, but that's not very stable. And if your body's not stable, your mind isn't stable. But you can start off with that. But I suggest quarter lotus. Now, full lotus is what you think of when people meditate with both ankles resting on their thighs. Half lotus is half of half, like this. Let's see if you can see that. So here, your first leg is here, just resting, and then you take the other leg and put it up onto the thigh, close to your hips, and that's half lotus. That's stable as well. Full lotus is the most stable. Half lotus is pretty stable, but if I suggest quarter lotus. Quarter lotus is, I went from here with the leg down on resting on the calf, and then of course your other calf and this knee on top of your other leg that's underneath, and nice and balanced. Okay, so now we got that over with. Put this in here. Now what else? First, the hips. The hips shouldn't be tilted forward, like that. You know how people sit like this, they tilt their hip forward? Okay, like if I'm facing this is my face, my tip would be tilted forward like that, where their butt sticks out. You know what I mean? And that's not good for in the long term, and it could cause problems. So you tilting the hip forward is going to make the back straight and the ability to put your shoulders back. But we don't want to cause that tension, so what do? The way I think of it is I'm sliding my whole butt. Like, let's say this is me meditating, I'm sliding my whole body forward as opposed to doing that. So I'm not tilting my hips, I'm just sliding my whole body and kind of using my belly to go, my belly's going forward more than my hips. Okay, so see if you can just, you're kind of fudging that, you know, so just figure it out. You'll just have the motion more, not in your hip joint, but in your spine, and, you know, just you're shifting your whole weight forward a little bit. Now, the more you shift your weight forward or tilt, which I don't want you to do, it's going to cause tension on your legs. And if you do long periods of meditating, it's going to cause a huge difference in pain in your legs and ankles and knees, you know. So just keep that in mind. That's why if you just, again, middle way, your butt bones also are going to be very firmly planted, like I said about the chair, nice and centered. You're not, you'll see it. If you're moving forward more or tilting forward, you're going to have more tension. You're going to feel more pressure towards the front of your butt bones, and that's putting tension on your legs but then that opens up your chest, so it looks good as far as your core, but it's going to affect the lower half. So instead of putting too much weight on the front of your butt bones, have it firmly flat, balanced, you know, equally distributed. That's what I mean. Equally distributed and nice and flat. You'll know it's flat because if you tense up your butt, for instance, or thighs or whatever, you're going to lift up a little and you won't be firmly planted. Nice and relaxed. That's when you know you're relaxed. If you tense up and then relax, you'll see the difference. And that goes for everything. Shoulders too, right? If you tense your shoulders, they might go up just a little. But if you relax your shoulders, they drop. All right, so again, the instructions sometimes say have the belly go forward, but that's a better way to put it, the way I just explained it. What else? Hands. I would say rest your hands on your thighs and just be relaxed. But the instructions often tell you to do this, and usually right hand over left. And they even tell you to like hold it at your navel level, which means you're holding it up actually. But then to me, that's causing tension in your arms. So I don't really like that. You can kind of pull your arm. I mean, I noticed you can pull your arms back a little, and then it kind of attaches it to the belly a bit, so that you don't have to just hold it up completely just with your muscles, you know. But you could also try to like find a place to rest it down on your legs or feet or whatever. Depends on what posture your legs are doing. And I said right over left usually, and from my experience or from my kind of guess, the right side for men is masculine, energized more, and so this might be good for clarity and alertness. And then maybe left hand over right would be more for being calm and less thoughts. I don't want to confuse you, but supposedly women are the other way around. So women right over left would be more calmness, and the left over right would be energy. But don't get too caught up in these details. Just meditate however is most comfortable. Another thing I'll say is, especially if you're doing like half lotus or something, or for a full load is definitely switch off. You don't want to do too much of one side, you know. You want to have some balance. Probably the most important thing, other than the butt bone stuff, the hips and all that, the most important thing is your spine. So the way you want to go about keep having your spine straight, to me the best way to think of it is, imagine there's a string coming from the top of your head, going down in between your spine and attaches to the bottom of your spine, and then you pull up on that. Have God pull up on that, and then and that's it. And just a little, like even like that much or that much, you know, it could be just a half an inch or whatever. Middle way, okay? Not too tight, not too loose, with everything we're talking about, mentally and physically. Shoulders. They say put your shoulders back, but honestly, it's probably going to make your mind more agitated if you do that, because you're thinking of too many things. So that's why I just like the whole spine, you know, string pulling up, and everything else will fall into place basically, right? Because if I'm like slouching, I pull up, my shoulders do go back a little bit. And you don't want to be too like looking like some perfect statue, you know, like then it's too tense. Now, if you want to improve your posture, then I guess, you know, you can do that. Or for me, sometimes I notice that this side is forward more. So when I meditate, I just pull this shoulder back a little. But I don't focus on my shoulders too much. And in fact, I will be honest, this isn't something you're going to hear from people officially, like, but if my shoulders and my neck are more slouched, not my belly, okay? The belly's just sitting up. But if my shoulders are more slouched and my neck is a little bit slouched, honestly, it makes for better meditations because I'm less tense. I'm more just relaxed of how I normally would be. But that does, you know, it's a trade-off. What do you want to do? Are you doing this for posture? Are you doing this for your mind? Are you doing this for both long term? So you make that decision and experiment. Try both. And in fact, a little bit more upright, even with the shoulders and the neck, would be better if you're dull, if your mind is a little out of it, and especially if you're sleepy, you know. Okay, chin, just all it is you do this, okay, and just tuck down just a little bit. Just a little bit. It should feel relaxed and natural, okay? If you have your chin up, it's more tense, you know? You just relax, middle way again. Not too tight, not too loose, okay? Tongue. The tongue is on the roof of your mouth and against the back of your teeth. And your mouth, middle way. It's not closed and it's not open. It's just barely open. Okay, and okay, let me just show it to you. Like, and again, don't think too much, especially if you want to work on your mind and get better at meditation. Over time, you can improve your posture, and if you want to really look like a perfect meditator, but I've even seen master meditators not have like this. It's more Westerners that try to like they think that they have to do it like this perfect and look all perfect, but it's actually it's too tense, it's too tight. All right, eyes are either closed or looking slightly open, like half open, and you're not focusing on anything, but you could think of, you know, looking at the ground but not focused on the ground. It's just being kind of soft gaze, okay? A soft gaze at the ground, or a soft gaze a foot or two in front of you, like focus on in midair. Also, a Hindu thing to do is you look in between your eyes. No, in between your eyebrows. Not up here, okay? Right here. And you're not too tight. You definitely don't want to do this too tight. You'll be cross-eyed and you might get a headache. And you can even do that with you're doing that with your eyes closed and you're just barely looking to this point. And this actually helps too if you're dull-minded at the moment, or if you're naturally dull-minded more often, or sleepy, that will help that. Keep in mind that you can improve your meditations immensely by what you do beforehand. So you could do an energy clearing. I do this clearing that clears my chi, nine breath purification. 9 breath purification is amazing. It takes a few minutes and I do it all the time. It's amazing. Helps me maybe relax. If you clear your chi, you're going to clear your mind. If you clear your chi, you also clear your body, because let's say sometimes I can't crack my back or shoulder, but then if I do the clearing, then it'll crack real easily. It's a trip. Even though people might not believe that, but it's true. I live it every day. You could take a hot bath or shower before you meditate. If you're agitated, that will help a lot. Just think about that. Or if you're sleepy or dull, maybe do 10 push-ups, or do a sprint or something. And then or you could do some intense breathing, like Wim Hof breathing. I wouldn't do breath of fire unless you're experienced, but you can maybe try a little bit of Wim Hof to be awake. I think that's it. Well, I'm sure I'll think of something, but that's the basics. And let me know if you have any questions. Peace.